try this again.
Oh, yep. I think now I can hear. Teresa, can you hear us?
I've been able to hear you all along.
Oh,
Okay.
good. She could hear us all along. She said.
I'm sorry, Teresa. I didn't have a certain
lever.
lever
There's a
turned
lot
up.
of buttons over there. We'll give you some.
Once
cut you
again,
some slack.
just in case, let me just say, this is Kimberly Formatic, and this is Raising Conscious Kids. And who is your guest?
Our guest today, I want to read her bio. It's very
Sure.
impressive.
Let's do that.
You ready to get rolling?
Yes.
Ready to get rolling.
Okay,
Good.
we can hear.
So, yeah, the name of the show here is Raising Conscious Kids, and our intention is to support teachers, parents, grandparents, really anybody who loves kids, has kids, to raising happy, healthy, conscious kids. And that's really what we're all about. So we have all kinds of guests. Sometimes I do talks. I have a background in corporate training and coaching. I'm a master coach myself. So just really, I'm the head cheerleader, I call myself, of Raising Conscious Kids, and just connecting with folks all around the world. Actually, I was connecting with someone from Australia today. So just really excited about all the guests we have lined up, all the topics, to really support us all, because really, in my opinion, raising our kids is the most important job that we'll do in our lifetimes. What do you say, Teresa? Do you agree?
Oh, I'm totally with that.
Yeah, you have kiddos too. So let's get started, because we have lots of great content today. And thank you, Teresa. Now, in the future, Jersey Talk Radio is new. We're a new station, and it's so exciting to be here in Flemington, New Jersey. And so in the future, what we'll be able to do is have the guest on one half of the screen and me on the other half of the screen. But for now, I didn't want to wait.
Yeah, that's coming.
Yeah, it's coming. It's coming. One step at a time, right?
That's right.
And so I didn't want to wait. I feel like this information is so important. So, Teresa, thank you for coming on, even though we can't see your beautiful face yet.
Well, you can bring her on sometime else, some other time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We will definitely have you on again. So let's get going. Teresa Wolf is a global earth healing advocate, food scientist, eco-herbalist, and health coach. She's worked as a microbiologist and chemist for a Fortune 500 food company and has decades of experience teaching classes, workshops, and seminars in the fields of science, nutrition, health, wellness, and environmental education. She's taught biological science and pharmacology at the college level and has co-written college-level food science curriculum. Serious guest here. We're not messing around, Richard. Teresa's been a professional herbalist for more than 25 years, and I actually brought some of her products that I actually use. This is one of them, and all of her products are, you could tell when they ship, they're just made with such care. Like, you could really sense that when you use them and stuff, and they're the highest quality, and Teresa will be sharing more about that later. So she's the founder and CEO of Welcome Harvest LLC, which provides quality herbal formulas. I can vouch for that. This original line of herbal products is geared toward restoring balance to the body to facilitate its ability to access and manifest renewed energy and hear its own inner wisdom. In addition, she offers online classes in health and wellness and how to use herbs for medicinal purposes. And you can register to learn about these online offerings, and we'll give you this again later. At our website is welcomeharvesherbalproducts.com. And then more recently, Teresa has founded an annual virtual online Earth Day event. How cool is that? And she calls it Global Healing Project One. And you can find more about that at globalhealingprojects.com. So welcome to Raising Conscious Kids Radio, Teresa Wolf.
Thanks, Kim. Thanks for having me on. I really appreciate what you do.
Oh, thank you, Teresa. Teresa, I think folks would love to hear a little bit about how you got started in this field first. I always like to talk to folks about, where did this start for you? How did this? I mean, your background's so impressive. How did you start in your journey in all these in this field?
It's only impressive because it's kind of like a dog wanders. I did this for a while, then I did that for a while, then I wandered over and did this for a while. But I actually started out as a scientist and was learning. I started as a microbiologist and a biologist, and then I became interested in food science.
Mm.
And from food science, I became interested in whole foods. I had some personal health issues.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was in the food science department, I learned about how to make things, how they make processed food items and everything like that. But that didn't work for me. I needed natural food. So I became interested in whole foods, and then I became interested in wild food.
Wild
Foods
food.
that you,
Nice. Nice.
you go out in the woods and collect and survive
Nice.
in the wild.
Beautiful.
And then I became interested in plants as medicines. And it just kind of catapulted from there.
So cool. So cool. And like I said, I have two of your products here, Helen and
Helan
and the All Sport Salve. And just real quickly, this is so timely. Usually, I got the Helen for some skin things I had going on, and then I was reading, it said you can use it like in the winter if you're having like a dry nose with the forced hot air heat and everything. So I was like, oh, I'll use it for that. So I've been kind of putting it in my nose before I go to bed, and last night I didn't. And I woke up this morning and I could really tell the difference. I could barely breathe. It was so bizarre. So there's the testimonial right there. And it just so happened it was right before this show. So I can say it works. Yeah. So can you tell us, Teresa, what's a global healing advocate and an eco herbalist? Can you tell us?
Yeah, I can. The Global Healing Advocate is basically a name I gave myself because of this Global Earth Day event that I was inspired to do.
Hey, I think Leonardo DiCaprio would be a good advocate for that. I just was watching. I just went to his Twitter account. He's an environmental activist. Who knew? I mean, I guess millions of people knew, but I didn't know. So, yeah, I think he'd be a good spokesperson. That would be pretty cool, huh?
Yeah, that'd be.
Richard, do you know Leo? You know Leo at all?
I've never met him.
Richard knows everybody,
No.
so I just had to ask. Okay.
I'm sure he's probably telling people he knows me. No, I've never met him.
Sorry, Teresa, go ahead and tell us.
Well, anyway, because of that Earth Day event, I call myself that, and I've been an environmental educator for years, and so
Yeah.
I also call myself the eco-herbalist because there's a lot of different herbs that will address issues that you have. Richard, I could have helped you with your bronchitis. I feel for you because I know how hard that is. But
Yeah, it was not fun.
oh, it's so not fun. The only value in being that sick, Richard, is that when you become well again, you really appreciate good health.
Sure. And let me ask you a question real quick. I've had 2 heart surgeries. I take a lot of medicines, and I notice when I do get sick, I get sick a lot worse than most people. Is that because I'm taking all these other medicines for my heart?
It could be, but it also just could be because your immune system, because from air pollution and other things going on in your world, is a little depleted.
Okay.
So, but yes, that would be a factor, yes.
Okay. Thank you. Sorry to interrupt you. Go ahead.
No, we want to chat with you too.
Yeah.
It's all divine timing. So, Teresa, this kind of leads us to our next question. The connection between individual health and environmental health.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
That's a really good thing I'd like to point out.
Yeah.
Because I know from working with people and also from working on the environment that the happy and healthier, more energetic you are, the more energy that you have towards towards making the planet a better place. Because when you're sick, your body turns its focus into helping you heal.
Mm-hmm.
All of your energies go within. I mean, you know yourself, when you're feeling run down, you don't want to get up and go do a lot. You need to rest and regroup.
Mm-hmm.
But as you regain your health, the energy that you focus on making yourself whole and bringing yourself back into balance is then freed up, and it can be refocused towards something else. I believe that the healthier we are, the more energy we have to make the world a better place. With our communities, our families.
New radio shows.
Doing radio shows.
Teresa, Richard is the founder. He and Bruce are the founders of this whole Jersey Talk Radio. So he's been really busy for several months now.
true.
Well, that didn't help. Probably the stress of that was a contributor for.
But I tell you what, I'm used to stress. I worked 21 years for Newsweek, so
Oh, never mind.
In
stress.
Manhattan.
In fact, I think I thrive on stress.
Yeah, that's a habit.
Yeah.
We can break you of that. We can thrive on more healthful things, right? Right, Teresa?
Absolutely.
So Teresa and I are in a mastermind group together, and so we've been working together now for several months. And one of the things I love about Teresa is we're very intentional when we create things. And Teresa, you mentioned that you'd like to start an intention for our show. So would you like to do that now?
Yes, and I noticed you did as well.
Yes.
But this one is in line with what I'm going to talk about going on. So what I'd like is for the listeners and the two of you to just take a minute and in your mind's eye, you don't have to close your eyes, especially if you're driving, but in your mind's eye, just picture yourself in a state of vibrant health. So just get a little quick snippet of a picture of that. And then what I'd like you to do, and I'll embellish this more later, but just for right now, just make a decision that you want to become that vision.
Nice.
And then ask your body, and this would be an ongoing thing, but ask your body what you need to do to become that vision.
Okay.
Okay. So once you do that, the question becomes, how do you hear what your body is saying? Because a lot of people have lost that ability.
True.
And it's hard to know, to get all this information in the media today about what's healthy, what's the right trend, what we were supposed to do yesterday is what we're supposed to do today. Do you remember when we were supposed to not eat butter and now we're supposed to eat butter?
Yeah. Don't eat the butter, eat the margarine. Oh, wait, sorry, the margarine killed you. Sorry.
I mean, and there's a lot of that stuff out there. And plus, any diet you want to choose, you'll find somebody that's an advocate for it. But
true.
So it's difficult to know what to believe.
Yeah.
And the other thing that's kind of surprisingly important is that most of that information out there is valid. And it's valid to somebody at some time, but not everybody all the time.
I think that's so important because, like you said, the first main point I think is if you have a point of view, you can Google it and find, a group that's going to agree with you, right? So I think it's so important that the first thing we're doing today is learning or remembering to really ask your body. And so for me, I do this. This is something that I've practiced. And so for me, when you tell, you give me an instruction, I'm like, okay, got that. Okay, got that. And I think it's just a practice. So if you didn't get something right away, it's just like maybe it'll come later or, when you're in the shower or relaxing, just set that intention to listen to your body a little more. And especially if you're pushing too hard or something, then your body gives you clues, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I do find that people whose health is really compromised, they have a difficult time hearing. But it's like a muscle. You can exercise it and it will get stronger.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the other thing that's important to know about that is that if you know, if you hear what your body is asking you to do and you know what you need, then you can, you can believe this, not listen to that. Oh, I don't need that. I know I don't need that. That's not right for me. It helps you to weed through all of the stuff on the TV and especially the ads during the news. I can pass on those.
Pass. So, Teresa, what would you say are the 3 most important ideas that would help us feel fit forever? Oh, yes, I didn't mention the name of our topic today. It's Feel Fit Forever.
Yeah, and it's very simple. I'm really a very practical gal, and so the first thing I wanted to talk about is just the basics of healthy living. Present some ideas about good nutrition and simple ways to get more nutrient value, because it doesn't really matter what you're eating; it's what nutrients it's going to provide for your body.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd also like to talk about a simple change, just one single simple change that will cause you to eat less and increase your energy, and I can guarantee it works.
Awesome.
The other thing I'd like to talk about is dieting versus weight management. Yes, there's a difference.
Yeah, for sure.
And the mind and body connection.
Great. Good. All right, we're ready. Wait, let me sit back. It's like story time. Sit back in my chair here. I have my pen and paper. I'm gonna take it all in, Teresa. You go, girl.
Oh, thanks. You might have to budge in, because when I get going with this, I get pretty excited.
I know. That's why I'm relaxing, because I know you get jazzied up. So we're excited.
Okay. Well, the number one thing. This is an art that is lost in our culture today, and that is the importance of a healthy digestive system.
Yeah.
And really, we don't think about it until we're old. And then when we're old, if you ever gone to a nursing home, the number one topic of conversation is whether or not you had a bowel movement yet. True.
Really?
It's absolutely true.
Richard shaking his head.
No, I just know that, not for me, but I know.
Yeah.
I know that's true.
Yeah. Well, you're not old, Richard.
I'm not old. I'll be 69 in April.
Wow. Party.
I had somebody tell me the other day, "Oh my God, you're almost 70."
No, you're almost 69.
So anyway, the important thing is to make a decision to have a healthy digestive system. You don't just want one. Decide that you're going to have one. Because the energy and basic nutrients that we get in our digestive system or for our body are from what we eat and what we drink. And just your digestive system, if it's not working properly, then you're not getting the most nutrition that you get from the food you eat. And our bodies are really complex machines, and they require a lot more than just the spectrum of nutrients that you get from French fries and a hamburger at McDonald's.
My son won't even eat that anymore, thank God.
Yeah.
Well, as a microbiologist, I used to try and select for organisms that had produced different chemicals for different reactions and things projects I was working on. And if I mutated an organism and tried to select for a certain chemical or amino acid or something, it would take about 300 generations before I would get what I wanted to be thriving.
Wow.
And those generations are 20 minutes, so that wasn't very long. But if it takes us 300 generations to be able to thrive on McDonald's hamburgers, we got a ways to go.
Wow.
So basically, our body does what it does. It's used to, we genetically, evolved to require nutrients from nature, to require natural foods, and a full spectrum of nutrients to make all the various chemical reactions that go on in our body happen. And you can't fill your car with orange juice and expect it to go. And you can't.
Or vodka.
Or vodka. You might get farther with the vodka. But you can't fill your body with junk food and expect to be in optimum health.
Yeah.
The other thing.
So it's really. Pardon me?
I'm sorry. The other thing it's funny because the person I had on right before you is a fitness person and a nutritionist. And we were talking, and I think it's a point that I want to get out to people. I have a sister that's always been overweight, and she's constantly doing these starvation diets. And if you could just explain that if you starve yourself, your body's going to build up fat anyway to try to keep itself alive. Correct?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And people don't understand that.
Yeah.
That's so true, Richard, because your body's, the cells, well, I'm just going to build right on what you just said as we go through. But what you did say is exactly true. So.
Yeah, I think people don't understand that, though.
Well, there's a couple things that are incorporated in that. One is your cells' memory. If you pull the fat out of the body, then your cells think that they've been depleted and they don't know why, and they want to get back to what that was.
Hmm.
And there's chemical reactions that cause that. She probably went into those more because I used to know every one of those actually, but I don't have them on the top of my head right now. But the point is the body will go back to what it considers homeostasis, and don't do that because a lot of us overeat. Yes, because there's various chemical is when you're eating. Here's how you control your portion size. Everybody should have has a portion of food that's just right for their bodies. And a real quick and easy way to do that is to just look at your hand.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you were to take and draw a circle around the palm of your hand,
Okay.
that's the size of protein that you need at your main meal of the day.
Okay.
So if you got a big hand, you're a big person, you need a lot of protein. If you got a littler hand, then that's still the size of protein you need. That's just one of those quick and dirty rule of thumbs kind of things.
I like that, Teresa, because we used to teach that when I did a lot of trainings on this, we used to teach like use a deck of cards or use your fist size. But I like what you're saying because it adjusts based on the size of the person. So I like that.
Right.
Thank you.
Right.
Yeah.
Specific to you.
I like that. Great.
Yep. And so here's another thing. An indicator of the size of your stomach is if you take your two hands and you cup them together as if you're going to scoop water out of a sink or a lake or something.
Okay.
Okay, so if you put your two hands together like that, like
They're
you're going to
together.
scoop something out,
Yep.
that's about the volume of food that you should eat at your biggest meal.
Really? That's not that much.
That's it. And the reason is that's about the size of your stomach. And so if you put in more, that's well and good, but then you'll be overfull for the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is the way, if you want to get to where you feel fit and you're your size, that's what you want to do. Is put your two hands together, that's about the volume your stomach can hold, and that's what you should eat.
Like a piece of pizza wouldn't even fit in here, Teresa. Would it?
Well,
One piece of
it's
pizza?
rounded, you know.
Yeah,
It's
if you cut it up, you
you
can get
mush
it.
it
In.
up.
Sure.
Definitely not two pieces of pizza.
I'll tell you what, Teresa. We were talking about this before, and it's something that I see all the time. A couple of diners here in Jersey, people come in, they're well overweight, and they talk about how great the food is because you get so much. Whenever I sit down to eat, I divide my food and decide what I'm taking home with me.
Absolutely. That's a great way to do it.
Well, I've after having heart surgery 16 years ago, I watch my diet closely.
Your wife wants to keep you around.
Well, I watch it closely.
Yeah.
I don't want to go back in and have my chest cut open. I had it cut open twice. I don't want to do that anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it drives me crazy when I see these people and they're going, oh, this place is great. You get large portions. And I'm thinking, yeah, what most people don't understand, if they're overweight, that's causing a lot of problems on their heart, causing a lot of problems on maybe cholesterol, sugar,
Yeah.
and overweight's going to kill you.
Absolutely. That's so well said, Richard. And you can say it even with more, well, I don't want to say with more, but you can say it very genuinely because it has affected you so severely.
Yeah, I watch my, I don't eat four-legged animals anymore. Though I do eat buffalo because it's very low in fat and cholesterol. But I was a big steak, eggs, and that kind of person, and I don't do that anymore.
Thank you. That's a good promotion for what I'm trying to tell people. And a good way to work your way if you are used to eating the oversized is to just use that rule of thumb with the hand.
Yeah.
Put that much, on your plate, that much blob of stuff, and then set the rest aside and take it home.
And then the other thing, we like to give practical tips, right? Teresa, you and I are the same with that. And then the other thing is just, cut back on how often you go there. Like, you don't have to not go there forever, but maybe instead of going once a week or twice a week to your favorite all-you-can-eat buffet, maybe cut back to once a week, and then cut back to once every 2 weeks, and then cut back to once every month, so you don't feel totally deprived, but there are ways that we can, because like you were talking about your sister, Richard, when you
Yes.
do it, and I've done it, I've done it cold turkey, I've done many of the diets that are out there, just because we didn't learn this stuff growing up. We
No.
didn't have the nutrition class in school, and I have an advanced degree. We never talked about this at all. You kind of have to figure it out on your own. So you're reading, like, as my husband and I have done a lot of them, and so really coming back to listening to your body, and what's going on, based on how you feel.
I've done enough medical center shows with nutritionists that I feel like I know. But I also watch what I eat, because I'm keeping my cholesterol down. I'm keeping my blood pressure down.
That's great.
So,
And you're only 68.
and I'll tell you what, it's harder when you get older, because that weight wants to come right around the belly here.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. For sure. Hey, Teresa, tell us about water. There are different camps on should you drink water with your meal or not. Tell us what you think about it.
That's one that you will find that people will have different opinions on, so I will give you mine.
Yes, thank you.
I think, we all know it's important to drink a lot of water, and I'll explain even more so why, but
Great.
not necessarily with the meal, because you have digestive juices, and if you drink a whole big volume of liquid with your meal, then that dilutes your digestive juices that are working at digesting your food.
Yeah, I
So-
agree. Yeah,
But-
I'm in your camp, Teresa.
Good. No wonder we get along so well.
Exactly.
Water is a major component of our diet in our body, and perhaps the most critical essential nutrient, because we can't live very long without it. The
For
only
sure.
thing that we need more than water is air, oxygen.
Yeah.
But water provides several major functions in the body, such as lubricating joints, transporting nutrients in the blood, transporting waste products in urine, regulating body temperature, and people don't realize that that's very critical, that water is used for that. But also water provides the medium for virtually every single chemical reaction in the body.
Wow, I didn't know that.
That's why water is such a huge component, and why we need water. And a lot of people don't realize that. They may say, I drink a lot of coffee, and I drink a lot of this and a lot of that. Juices and coffee, they're actually dehydrating.
Yeah, especially
They actually
coffee.
they'll pull water from the body to dilute it to the level that's biologically absorbable. And so it actually pulls water from the body.
Wait, say that again. It pulls. Say that last
It'll
sentence
pull
again.
water, well, if you think about juices where they're really concentrated,
Yeah.
or smoothies, sometimes I feel that people who throw a lot of thick things into their smoothies would actually be better off putting a little more water and moisture in it.
Oh, okay.
That's just me. But because that's, when it goes into the system, it's like having eaten a meal. So if that's your meal, that's the meal you just ate.
Mhm.
But if you're doing it in addition to the meal, well, then the body's got to put moisture in there to dilute it enough to actually break it down.
I
to-
see. Okay, and it's got to pull that
metabolize
moisture
it.
from somewhere.
Right. So it'll pull from the body.
Yeah.
But the number one tip, you remember I mentioned the number one tip that'll cause you to eat less and have more energy. And,
Yes.
And I'll swear by this.
Okay.
Chew your food. Chew your food
Ah.
completely.
Mm.
You want to chew it. You want to chew your food when you take it into your mouth to that liquid state, which we call chyme. You don't need to remember that word. Just remember that you want to chew all of your food until it's just fluid. You want it that way when you swallow it, and it goes into the rest of the body. When your digestion happens, if you just swallowed a huge chunk of something, digestion happens at the molecular level. So you'll be digesting the outer portions of it, but those bigger chunks either get passed through undigested, or they'll clog pieces, little nooks and crannies of the colon.
Wow.
And people end up with diverticulitis, or they'll just just won't be extracting. You'll be eating a whole lot of food, but you won't be getting the nutritional value from that food.
Wow.
And so it's really super important that you chew your food. Plus, in your saliva, you have enzymes that start the digestive process right then.
Mm-hmm.
And by chewing, you are inoculating your food with those digestive enzymes.
Nice.
And so, the most important thing about that, and people say, well, were you ever told how much you should chew your food when you were a child? Were you ever told how many times?
No, I don't think so. Were you, Richard?
No. I was just told, eat everything on your plate.
Yeah, exactly. The Clean Plate Club. Don't get me started on the Clean Plate Club.
I actually had a friend, I told this before. I had a friend, they used to say, well, there's kids starving in Europe. I had a friend ask his mother, name one. Yeah.
Yes, the awesome things that parents say to kids.
Well, I think my parents went through the Depression.
My dad did. My mom was younger.
And I think eating all your food, I mean, we've got this food now. Eat your food. Don't waste it.
Yeah.
Well, I was raised the same way, Richard. Eat all the food on your plate, and I was definitely a Clean Plate Club.
You were
Yes.
too, Teresa? I didn't know that about you.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's so common. I've told the story before when I do seminars. No matter how many people are there, maybe 75% of the people, I have them raise their hands. Are you a member of the Clean Plate Club? Everybody knows what it is. It's either a yes or no. Sometimes as many as 75%. And these are parents wanting to know how to better parent their kids because, our generation, we just listened more. This new generation, they're just more evolved. They're different. They have their own minds. And, they're just not going to eat it all, And so then you're going to have a fight every mealtime. And plus, I mean, there's so many reasons why, I'm preaching in the choir, but, if we want our kids to if we want to teach our kids to listen to their own bodies, and that means eat when you're hungry, and then stop when you're full, and then put the rest in the fridge till later. We can heat it up. And so, we started out this conversation with listening to the body, right, Teresa?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, and that's exactly where I was going to go with that, because if you chew your food completely, and by the way, I was raised with the Clean Plate Club, and to this day, I can't get beyond that. And so I have to take less on my plate because I will clean my plate. If you put it on my plate, I will eat it.
My husband is the same way, Teresa. He was firstborn, Italian family, and he was raised that way, and he's still. Now, once in a while, if we go out to dinner or something, we went out to dinner last weekend, and he will do what you do, Richard. He'll parse it out.
I do that all the time, yeah.
And then take some home. But most of the time, he will clean his plate. But now, because he doesn't eat as much as he used to growing up, he can, take some of that home. And it's just you just eliminate that whole feeling so bloated after the fact. Now, Thanksgiving's another story. I think everybody needs to overeat on Thanksgiving. Not really. If you want to.
Well, but here's the deal. If you chew your food, and the reason I asked the question about how many times is because I know people, and myself included, that were told a number of times. Some people say 50, some people say 33, some people say 15 or times or whatever. But it depends on what you eat. If you're eating a carrot or a piece of meat, you're going to have to chew that a whole lot more than if you're eating a banana.
That's true, too. You can't chew the banana 50 times.
Well, you can, but
it'll start oozing out of your mouth.
Yeah. So you want to. But the thing is that chewing your food completely, and this is why I really stand behind this is a huge tip. Because if you really chew your food completely, one, you're going to absorb more of the nutrients. So you're going to have better nutrition. You're going to have more energy. Two, by chewing your food completely, you take longer to eat. And it takes more time. It takes that time that you need for that I'm full reflex to happen.
To get to your brain, right?
Yep. Which is about 20 minutes after you start to eat, when that reflex will kick in. And so you're just chewing away at your food. You will have eaten far less before your body says, I'm full. I don't need any more. And pretty soon, what happens, even for those that are used to those great big meals, if you do that, you'll get used to that I'm full feeling, and you won't even want that all you can eat volume. Let's put it that way. I like the all you can eat because I like the varieties, but I don't want the volume. So that to me is a huge, very huge thing that we could all do. That would make a difference.
Yeah.
And the last thing is just eat in a relaxed environment, because if you're all stressed out, your body won't absorb the nutrients. And a lot of people too, they'll sit twisted. So maybe the table is off to the side, and their digestive organs are kind of twisted.
Yeah.
And that also will interfere with your digestion.
And then the other thing I'll add is, you know, if you have a conversation you want to have with one of your kids or your spouse, don't have it at the dinner table. You know, like that is not the time. Schedule a time, maybe an hour later or a half an hour before. But, you know, that's something, because a lot of times with busy families, that's the time. I mean, it started happening with my family. That's why I can say, you know, it's not a good time to do it, because you take the time to sit down together. You take the time to, you know, shop for the food, prepare the meal, and you sit down and, okay, now everybody's face to face, and now you're going to talk about what's bothering you about so-and-so. It's like, that's not the time. It's not good for digestion. It's not good for anything. So that, in my opinion, should be a safe zone. Wouldn't you say, Teresa?
Absolutely. And Kim, were you the one that told me of the value of when you're at the dinner table with your family, start the conversation with what's one thing one really good thing that you had happen to you today, or you did today, or whatever.
Yeah.
Because then that makes people, or everybody, tell a joke or something, but those kinds of things will actually help with the digestion.
Yes, a happy body.
Yeah.
And in appreciation too, right?
Right.
Great. So, Teresa, we're at 5:42. I just want to make sure that we get in everything that you want. What do you want to talk about next?
The difference between diet and weight management.
Okay.
And so what I want people to understand is that excess body fat, well, dieting, the reason we do that is to get rid of excess body fat. And excess body fat is the result of consuming too much food, not just carbohydrates like sugars and starches. It's all food. No matter, you know, it's just plain old, eat too much food, your body's going to store it as fat, because that's just how the system works. And the only way to lose that excess body fat is to alter the energy balance equation, so that the energy that you put out is greater than the energy you take in. So I'm going to repeat that. The only way to lose weight or to lose excess body fat is to alter the energy that you're dealing with, so that you're putting out more energy than you're taking in.
Okay.
And that means you can be exercising more, or you can exercise the same and eat less, but whatever you do, you want more energy out, less energy in, if you want to lose body fat. Now, weight management is actually keeping that equation equal. So the same amount of energy that you're putting out is the amount of energy that you're bringing in. And I am not a calorie counter.
I'm not either.
If that works for people, that's good.
Yeah.
But I basically just say to well, I'm not doing much today, so I'm not going to eat so much today. Or today I'm a ski instructor, so today I'm going to be out in the cold weather working with kids all day. I need to eat a lot of calories because I've got to keep that energy up.
Stay warm.
So, yeah. And so that's my simple tip on that for weight management. It's just, okay, how much energy are you going to kick out today? And how much do you feel you need to eat to be able to get there? That's simple as you know, eat a lot of colors, eat a lot of flavors, look at what you're going to do for the day, and base your food on that.
Teresa, how much water? Oh, excuse me. How much water would you say that folks need to drink? I've heard the recommendation is typically. Well, you tell us. What's your?
Well, you're right. It's all over the charts. They say 10 glasses of water a day. Some people say a gallon of water a day. Some people say quarts of water a day. I guess for me, I'm always focused on drinking water. It's a very important, but I can give you 2 quick tips.
Okay.
The first one is before you drink any other liquid in the morning, drink at least 8 ounces of water.
Okay.
And what that will do is during the night your body has been trying to re-equilibrate, repair itself, and it kicks out all these toxins. And so if you drink that water right away, it's going to flush it out of your body.
Nice.
So that's one tip. And the other tip that I want to give people about drinking water is if you look in the mirror and you look at your tongue, and if you can see indentations in your tongue where your teeth are, that like your teeth had pushed into your tongue, then you don't have enough water in your body.
Yeah.
Enough water in your system.
No. You mean when you're sleeping at night?
No.
Or anytime? Oh.
Anytime. If you look in the mirror and stick out your tongue and you can see where your teeth marks are.
I never heard
like
of that.
kind of around it, then you'll know that you don't have enough water in your system.
Drink more water. You're dehydrated. Okay, great. That's a great tip. Never heard that one. Teresa?
Yeah.
So,
Thank you.
yeah. So, there's a hidden element you were going to tell us about, right?
Right. And that is the one thing that I wanted to talk about. That would be in relation to what Richard was talking about with people that are long time overweight, and it keeps coming back on. And the thing I want to mention is the importance of your own psyche. Because a lot of times when that's the hidden element is your mind-body connection and your self-image. What happens with a lot of people, if they've been overweight for a long time, we put that weight on as a protection. Some people put on lots of bulky muscles, but it's kind of emotionally an armor. And what happened was there were times in our life emotionally where we started to put those things on. And as we lose weight, we get back to those vulnerable emotional states in our mind. And unless we pay attention to that, then the body's going to want to put that armor back on because they're not going to want to go back to that emotionally vulnerable moment.
Wow, Teresa, that's bringing up a memory for me. Is about maybe 15 years ago now. I was doing some kind of program, some kind of fitness program, and I was, releasing body fat. And I had all these emotions coming up, and I didn't really relate it at the time. And then I went to see my body worker. I had started working with a body worker, I guess it was like maybe 17 years ago now. And I said, it's odd. I'm having these feelings coming up that I haven't really thought about, for a long time. And he said, as the body's releasing the fat, whatever's stored in the fat is coming out. And I'd never put it in that kind of like fundamentally linked kind of way that, wow, as I'm releasing this fat, other things are coming out with it. I mean, that's very metaphysical. But that's just what I thought of when you were talking about, the psyche and the self-image, and, that's a very like tangible situation that I had.
And that's exactly what I'm referring to.
Oh.
I know of a woman who had surgery at a point in her life, and she had a lot of weight, and she was coming to me for assistance with her health and wellness goals, and she lost weight, and when she got to the weight that she was at where she had the surgery, she actually was anesthetized for about 4 hours because the anesthetic had been stored in some, not all.
Wow.
But she actually could feel that as it was coming out and being released from the body for just a little bit of time.
So I wasn't crazy.
Yeah.
Well, not that time.
I threw that out there for you, Richard. Wow. Well, thank you for that, because I never shared that story, actually. And, yeah, the body's amazing, isn't it? And
Yes.
the cellular memory that, we're just beginning to, maybe civilizations years ago when all they did was have time to like look up at the stars. They didn't have TV. Maybe they had time to like think about these things more so. But the stuff that we're sharing these days is amazing. It's amazing. The other thing, Teresa, that I'm thinking of is sometimes it's girls and boys is when they're losing weight and their body image gets distorted in their minds. They look into the mirror and they don't see the actual reflection. There's such a distortion, and this has impacted some friends of mine. It's so scary. Like, these are real can't even talk about it, diseases that kids could have these days. It's terrifying.
Thank you. That's the next thing that I was going to mention, and this is again in relation to what Richard was asking. There's an exercise that I have people do, and it's called your inner mirror. And so again, just use your mind's eye and imagine yourself looking at your reflection in a mirror. And how do you see yourself when you look into your inner mirror? And then what I'd like you to do is imagine the reflection looking back at you.
Oh, cool.
And are the images the same?
Wow.
So a lot of times, and again, this is harking back to what Richard was asking, a lot of times people's mental image of themselves, if they don't work with, I don't mean a lot of times, all the times, if you don't work with your mental image of yourself when you are working at losing weight or adjusting your body, be it more weight, less weight, more muscle, less muscle, whatever, if you don't work with your visual image, which is what we started with at the beginning of the program, picture what you want to look like, decide to be that, then you're just going to go back to whatever was the homeostasis of what you had before.
Well, I have goosebumps, Teresa. This is powerful. I never heard anyone put it that way, so thank you for sharing that.
So how much time do we have left?
8 minutes.
About 6 minutes.
Okay. Well, I've got this, what I'd like to do at the very end, and it'll take about, maybe 4 or 5 minutes is, if at the most, is to finish up with that intention that I just referred to that we started at the beginning, because it's actually a whole process.
Let's do that now, because I want to give us plenty of time. I'm excited for this process. Let's do that now. Yeah.
All right. So if anybody's listening and they're driving, do not close your eyes.
Yeah, pick it up on the replay later.
But we'll go back to what we started at the beginning. I call this Tips for Choosing Vibrant Health. And what I'd like you to do is just in your mind's eye, you can close your eyes or not, but just picture yourself in the state of vibrant health. And particularly now, if you end up with the same image that you had at the beginning, that's what your body's trying to tell you.
Okay.
Okay, and just imagine it with as much detail as possible. What does your hair look like? What does your skin tone look like? What are you wearing? Are you wearing comfortable clothes, athletic clothes, business clothes, whatever? This is what your body is telling you. And then willfully decide that you want to become that vision. So make a decision that if this is what your inner body is telling you, this is what you want to become. Hang on to that vision, and as you go through your days, you maybe want to write it down, but ask your body to tell you what you need to become that vision. So when you're at a restaurant and you're deciding how much to eat, you can pull up that vision and you can say, okay, how much do I need to eat to get to that vision? So you're listening to your own body, and when you feel overwhelmed by your choices, go to your gut feeling As a guideline, disallow anything that you receive that's negative or harmful to yourself or to anyone else. Because that's just our body, sometimes we sabotage ourselves. So if it's not something that makes you take a deep breath and feel good, then it's probably not something that you need to hear. Follow what your body tells you. When you make a choice, be consistent and give the regimen a chance. But be prepared to change over time. Notice the small incremental steps that you take that move you forward towards your vision on your journey back to that space. It's imperative that you disallow any guilt or negative thinking, because the negative energy that you get when those thoughts come in. So, what I do in my head, I imagine a big boot kicking them back out. But the negative energy is actually an obstruction to digestion. So if you're going to eat something and you're at McDonald's because you're traveling and this is all you have time for, or your kids really need to eat like right now or wherever, then just embrace what you eat with love and ask that your body receive the most nutrition that it can from what you're eating now. Instead of the mental game that we play going, okay, I'm going to eat this, I know it's terrible for me and I shouldn't, but I'm hungry now, Just go, okay, this is what I've got, and I just want to get as much as I can from this. I feel that this is very important because there are some people that are on welfare and assistance, and they really, really want their families to eat better, but this is all they can afford. So you just have to say, okay, then this is what we're going to work with. So enjoy your food, regardless of what it is, and lovingly ask your body to receive all the nutrition that it can from everything you eat. And the final tip that I want to give is to just mindfully choose. Choose with awareness. At Thanksgiving, I guarantee you I'm going to overeat and I'm going to love every single bite. That's just how it is. And, at Christmas time, if I want a Christmas cookie, I'm going to eat that Christmas cookie, and I'm not going to spend one iota of a second saying what a bad person I am for eating a Christmas cookie. It's there because there's beauty, and there's fun, and there's sweetness, and there's joy, and that's why I eat a Christmas cookie. And that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So those are my tips. Picture how you want to be, make a decision to become that, listen to your body, follow what your body says, disallow negative thinking, and choose with awareness, and accept responsibility for that. And those are probably my final big things I'd like to make, big points.
Oh, thank you so much, Teresa, for sharing all your wisdom and all these practical tips. I've taken a bunch of notes here, and would you give folks your websites, please?
Yes. My website for where you can put your name on my newsletter and get notices of any classes. I often do free webinars and other classes, and that's where my products are. It's a big word, sorry, but it's Welcome Harvest Herbal Products. That's with an S. .com. The business is Welcome Harvest, and then just herbal products, all one word. Welcome Harvest Herbal Products.com.
And then you have the online Earth Day event coming up, and could you tell that website as well?
Yep, that's Global Healing Projects, also plural.com. And I'd love to have you sign up for that, too.
Yeah. Teresa, you are so awesome, and I feel so much appreciation for you spending the time with Richard and me and all our viewers here at Jersey Talk Radio.
Where's Teresa located?
Teresa, where are you located?
I am in Wisconsin, about an hour and 15 minutes from the Minneapolis-St. Paul area, but just across the river into the state of Wisconsin.
Teresa sometimes goes off the grid. Sometimes she'll be
I
like,
do.
I'm going off the grid. I'm going into the wilderness. And she literally is off the grid. You cannot get in touch with her. Teresa's amazing.
What I know about Wisconsin is the Wisconsin Dells.
Oh, okay. I'm about from there about 4 hours
Okay.
north and west. So that's a pretty area. But yes, I do go off the grid. I go into the wilderness. That's where I feed my soul. And I can't contact you, and you can't contact me.
Good idea.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I just want to remind folks that our community is Raising Conscious Kids. You can go to raisingconsciouskids.com, join our global community. It's free, and we're just here to support everyone, teachers, parents, because we're all in this together, raising our next generation of amazing kids. So thanks for everyone for joining us, and hope you got at least as much out of this today as I have. Thanks so much, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks, Kim. Thanks, Richard.
Sure. Thank you. I just want to mention that normally Jeannie Murphy would be here.
Yes.
She's not going to be here tonight, so.
Oh, okay.
But please tune in next week, and she will be here. And are you back next week?
I am subbing for David White.
That's what I
next week,
thought.
So I am back next week.
Well, I'm sure I'll probably see you next week.
Good.
Anyway, I want to thank Teresa. I want to thank you, Kim. And please, this is Jersey Talk Radio coming to you from the Flemington Car and Truck Country Broadcast Center right here at 127 Main Street. Have a great night, everybody.